Hello, in this presentation I'm going to be talking with you about recumbent stone circles. As an overview, I'll be covering a general introduction to stone circles and talking specifically about recumbent stone circles and what is really unique about them, and then exploring that through a few different examples. The recumbent stone circle of Easter Acorthes, of Oldkeek, and of Midmar. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about carved stone balls, which are a unique artifact that have been found near recumbent stone circles, and provide references for further exploration. First of all, stone circles generally, and this is a photo of Stonehenge, which is likely the stone circle that most people are familiar with, were built in the late Neolithic through the Bronze Age, or about 4000 to 1200 BC. Most stone circles of all types would include carving, would have some type of an altar stone, often have burial chambers or cairns. They vary in size and shape. This is a very large stone circle, of course. They're optimized mainly for solar cycles, although we'll find in the recumbents that they're optimized for other cycles. There are different types of artifacts found within these circles, and they also have really sophisticated acoustical systems within the stone circles. Recumbent circles are quite unique, mostly because they're found in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, pretty much exclusively, although a couple of them are in Ireland, but pretty much are found exclusively in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, which is the yellow space that you see on this map. About 70 of them are recognizable today. It's believed that there's about 200 or more, but about 70 are recognizable, and several dozen that actually are in really good shape that can be toured. A recumbent stone circle always has a recumbent stone, and a recumbent stone is one that is laid horizontally. You see that in the top left-hand box, and it has very tall stones on the side of it called flankers. There are also many other stones in the circle that have been carved into unique shapes and are often made of different types of stone that are brought into the circle. And those stones are often laid out in patterns that are unique to multiple different circles. The recumbent stone circles are also much smaller of a stone circle than other ones like the large Stonehenge, which gives a feel of much more of an intimate circle. They are optimized mainly for lunar cycles. Many have cup markings, which also indicate connections to other patterns of astronomy. They're also very unique in that these carved stone balls are found pretty exclusively to this Aberdeenshire area and around these recumbent stone circles. And they are geometrically beautiful by design and by ratio. So the first stone circle we're going to look at is Easter Acorthes, which is in Aberdeenshire. I think that this is such a beautiful picture of a stone circle. It's built between 4000 to 2500 BC. The recumbent in this circle is red granite and the flankers of gray granite. And you can see one of the flankers is much taller. One of them is more kind of rounded. That would be kind of an indication of the male and femaleness of the stones, as researchers like to describe them. The other stones in the circle are made up of either red jasper or pink porphyria. And the acoustics in this circle are really designed to enhance sound. So if you were, for example, standing at the recumbent and speaking, anybody anywhere within that circle should be able to hear you very well. This recumbent declination is minus 32.1 to 28.6. The full moon at major standstill sets over the recumbent, and this recumbent is perfectly circular. To take a little bit of a deeper dive into the geometry and really the beauty of this circle, I wanted to draw on some work from Dr. John Hill, who wrote a book on the recumbent circles of Aberdeenshire. And in this, what he did was to better explain the geometry here, he used a rope exercise that I think is quite intriguing. And what you'll see here is box A here in the top left. The layout, if you laid out a length of rope across the diameter here, you'd find that it's 65.625 feet in diameter. And if you folded that rope up 3 times, you would find that one length would determine the spacing between the stones. So it would go from this, in box B, it would go from the edge of the flanker to the edge of the next stone, and then it would indicate the space that goes from the edge of the stone kind of all the way around the circle. And if you look here down at C, you can look at the length of the recumbent stone is 13.125 in length, which is 1/5 of the circle's diameter. This ratio of the recumbent stone to the diameter as being 1/5 is predominantly what you see in stone circles, although some have different ratios, but primarily they're a 1/5 ratio. If you then look here in the box D, and you took that rope that you pulled across the recumbent stone and you folded it up 7 times so that each fold was 22.5 inches, that would be the baseline of this stone number 8 here. And then you could also take the total base width of all of the stones, which would be 39.375 feet. You divide that by 3, and you again get the width of that recumbent stone. If you want to look into so many more details on the geometry and the beauty of these stone circles, I highly recommend Dr. John Hill's book. Looking at another stone, this is Old Keg, and it's named Old Keg because it is the largest recumbent stone. This recumbent stone is 5 meters long, 2 meters high, it weighs 53 tons. The circle diameter, obviously because the recumbent stone is bigger, is much larger. So the circle diameter is 89 feet, which is again 1/5. And the recumbent declination for this particular one is minus 29.2 to 20.9. And so there's a different significance. There's a solar and a lunar significance with this one. Midwinter sun sets over this recumbent, and in midsummer full moon sets over the left side of the recumbent on a major standstill and the right side during a minor standstill. Another really picturesque and beautiful circle is the Midmar circle, which is also called Midmar Kirk because it is a church has been built around it. In this one, you find 2 flank stones, or about 2.5 meters high. They're very tall. The recumbent is 17 tons and 4.5 meters long. And the declination for this one is minus 20.8 to 9.8. And this has some interesting significance, and it's believed by some researchers that when built, it was really more a stellar significance, because when built, Orion would ride just above the recumbent stone in winter, and some believe this stone circle was designed potentially for this purpose. But also the setting full moon during the minor standstill is on the top of this recumbent. Now a little bit about those interesting stone carved balls. Again, I mentioned they're primarily in Aberdeenshire. They're estimated to have been carved in the late Neolithic period, same time as the building of these recumbent circles. 425 of them have been found to date. They have a variety of designs and materials. They're typically 2 3/4 inches in diameter, so they would fit in the palm of your hand. And there's many theories on the purposes of these. Some believe that these were an offering because in animistic cultures, people often put offerings in the ground for fertility. And some of them believe they were rituals because they were found near these recumbent stone circles, that there's a lot of belief that they were connected in these lunar rituals. Some believe that these really were memory aids or would capture knowledge and information. Some see these as patterns of the stone circles themselves that were portable. And some would see these as prestige objects. I'm really not sure what they are, but I think that they are quite beautiful. So if you would like to explore further about recumbent stone circles, there are several resources here for either learning or teaching about them. There's also information for if you plan to tour Scotland because you're intrigued that these are so interesting that you want to go see them yourselves, which I might do because I do find them so interesting. There's also a online 3D rendering exhibit that you can see at the National Museum of Scotland for the carved stone balls, and the most famous of them, which is the Towie ball. And there's also academic research, and a lot of it on these stone circles. The recumbent stone circles of Aberdeenshire by John Hill I had mentioned, but there's also many other resources. This is just one of them. So I hope you enjoyed the recumbent stone circles as much as I have. They're quite fascinating and so beautiful.